New federal filings allege the Michigan terror suspects discussed alternate attack targets beyond Ferndale, including Cedar Point Amusement Park and a New Year's Eve event using pumpkins to represent Halloween and fireworks to represent New Year's Eve as code. Cedar Point, they confirmed that it worked with the FBI after the men were observed on park property. The park says its surveillance helped investigators and that no substantiated threat was found at Cedar Point. A newly charged Dearborn defendant is separately being sued by Fortnite maker Epic Games over an alleged bot scheme. His lawyer says in that civil case that it has nothing to do with the terror plot. Investigators say online searches focused on LGBTQ venues in Ferndale and research into the 2016 Pulse nightclub attack. Two additional men were arrested in New Jersey in a related strand of the case. One from New Jersey, one from Washington, both allegedly pledging allegiance to ISIS and using encrypted chats. The FBI describes a year-long operation with informants, undercover agents, recordings, and surveillance, and prosecutors have now amended the complaint to add defendants and details as the multi-state probe continues. You know, when the story first broke, we had FBI Director Kash Patel taking a victory lap immediately following the raids, and we had a defense attorney the next day saying this was ridiculous, that these are just kids who are gamers and they're just saying dumb things. I don't know. They said there's no terror plot. That's what the defense attorney said. I don't know about that. I think this case is really, really serious, and I think it's one we have to watch. I think it's one we should think about rather than just come out with quick, hot takes. By either side, the way we did in the early hours of what was happening. I think that should be avoided. I think we should be extra careful with our words on serious cases alleging concerns of mass shootings or terror. This country absolutely has a mass shooting problem that we all need to figure out how to solve together. We can't just have mass shootings week after week after week. There are no winners in mass shootings. We all lose. And hot takes are not terribly helpful because they divide us. And, what we need to do is figure out how to unite in a goal to stop mass shootings, to stop terror plots. That's what we need to do as a country. I think we need to watch what develops in court before we come out with our hot takes on a case like this. Watch for the facts that we see. This first looked like the FBI moved really quickly to stop a possible threat that was going to happen Halloween weekend, as if they had just got a hot tip and they went out and did some raids. And then defense attorneys immediately came out and said that the FBI overreacted. Now it looks like the case is in court, so we can actually see what the prosecutors are saying allegedly happened. And we're learning that this was a year-long investigation. They had informants on this case, so somebody was probably arrested. And rather than go to jail, they said, hey, I have some information that you could really use about this group. And they shared information with the FBI. There were undercover agents. We now know that because of the court filings. That means the FBI then put undercover agents, law enforcement officials, inside, became friends or acquaintances to get close to the people allegedly involved in this plot. That takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of work. That is not something quick that just happened when the phone rings and says, I think something's going to happen on Halloween weekend. To have informants and undercover agents involved in this case, we also found out in court that they had tape recordings. That means they had the time to set up surveillance, to put video recordings and audio recordings in places that they could get video evidence and audio evidence of the people allegedly involved in all of this. So instead of immediately picking sides like we do on every day in politics. It's like a story comes out, there'll be 10 of them today, and everyone will jump to one side or jump to the other side. It doesn't matter if it's tariffs or the border or what it is. We're going to immediately take all of these hot takes. And I just think we should cool down on the hot takes when it comes to things involving potential terror attacks, potential school shootings, mass shootings. I feel like maybe we should all slowly come together on these cases and watch and learn and see what we can learn together as the cases unfold in court, because we all need to come together to prevent mass shootings in this country. In this particular case, look, it may succeed, it may fail. That will depend on the merits of the case. But we should remain unified on the bigger goal of doing everything we can to stop mass shootings where we can. I mean, think about where we are often in this show. Something happens and we stop and we say, how did this happen? We should have seen something. There should have been some red flags. Why didn't somebody do something? Why didn't somebody say something? Well, in this case, some informant said something and law enforcement did something. They put together a plan and they got undercover agents involved and they got recording devices and video devices. They did something and there was no mass attack. Maybe there never was going to be. We won't know until this case works its way through. But we do know that one didn't take place. And anything we can do to work together to prevent mass shootings, terror attacks, I think is well worth doing.